I think you want to sit next to Benson.
That is pretty good.
Vincent, did anybody get a hold of you that might be, did Robert get a hold of you about being late?
No. I can quickly
Is that a
check.
quorum though?
Yeah. Yeah,
Cameron?
he's not on.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
down.
Nothing in my email, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let's get this party started. Taco Tuesday, too.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for coming to the May 5th, 2026 Budget Committee meeting. Will you all please rise and we'll pledge allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all. We'll do roll call real quick, and I'll announce everyone's name. Please give me a yay, or a hey, or a ho, or something. All right. Nick Smith, Mayor, here. Alonzo Castilla, running late. Stacy Holt,
Present.
Clark Kent,
Present.
Mark Kramer,
Present.
Joan Morris,
Here.
Alan Dukes,
Here.
Dave Strand,
Here.
Robert Jackson, Derek Isaacson,
Here.
Joshua Johnson.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Shelley Clark,
Here.
Debbie Yee.
Here.
All right, so it looks like Alonzo and Robert Jackson are missing in action right now. We still have enough for a quorum though?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, with roll call done, next item is to elect a chair and a vice chair of the budget committee. So y'all get to handle the gavel, accepting a nomination for chair. Anybody has one? I have one. I'll nominate Stacy Holt as chair of the budget committee. Do I have a second? Councilor Morris seconds it. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Slick.
All those opposed, same sign, motion passes unanimously. You find yourself a vice chair, young lady.
All right, so with that, let's open up the floor for nominations for vice chair. Do I have any nominations?
I do. Debbie Yee.
Second.
Any other nominations?
Counselor Clark, or wait, see, I'm gonna do that because Shelley's here. Counselor Kent seconds that nomination. Are you accepting that nomination?
I guess, but I don't know what it entails. It's my
You back up
first time.
Stacy with the gavel.
And she's
always
always here. Okay.
All right, with that said, let's take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Got it? All those opposed, same sign? Very well then, moving on. We did roll call, chair and vice chair. Has everyone had a chance to look at the prior meeting minutes from last year? Because next up, we have to approve the committee meeting minutes from last year.
I'll move to approve the committee meeting minutes from.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Mayor Smith seconds that. And we'll take the vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes? All those opposed, please raise your hand. And that passes unanimously. And then receiving the budget message, and I think that means somebody else is up. Looks like it's going to be you.
Thank you. Vincent Monterello, City Manager, City of Cresswell. Welcome to the 2027 Budget Committee meeting. We will strive to be brief, be brilliant, and then be gone. You have the budget message within your proposed budget. I will hit the highlights of that in this presentation, and then I will turn it over to Jim, and he will go into a little bit more detail of the proposed budget. So with that purpose and financial overview, these budget meetings are really aligned with Oregon budget law. It allows citizen participation, it increases the transparency, and it allows both governing body and citizens to review the budget and comment on it. With our live stream, it is also allowing the citizens to watch what we're doing tonight. So our purpose is really to increase that transparency and mostly align with Oregon state law, and to provide you with a budget that really maximizes our fiduciary responsibility, not only on operational funds, but also capital improvement funds. For 2027, we're looking at a 6% increase over 2026. As a comparator, 2 years ago, there was an 11% increase. Last year, it was a 10% increase. So we've sharpened our pencils and really looked at the budget. We're not adding any new programs, any new services. We're not eliminating any programs or any services, and we're not adding any additional staff as the highlight of our overview. And our budget is in good standing. We have a strong reserve. And our operating budget, as mentioned, is really focused on those goals that align with the strategic plan. So the goals that align with the strategic plan really break down to four: maintain the robust, sustainable infrastructure, safety for all, community education, and economic development. From a standpoint of a robust and sustainable infrastructure, we are continuing to make that investment with not only our projects, but with our operational staff through timely repairs and timely routine maintenance. We also, with regard to safety for all, we've renewed the Lane County Sheriff's contract. We also are applying the the Public Safety Fund as well, and that is going to help support and increase our attempt to maintain that safety for all. If there's any questions along the way, please feel free to speak up. With regard to community and outreach, really we support that with our franchise fees through different events, different educational programs. We are also, our planning department really engages with the community from a standpoint of connecting with developers early, going over the zoning code. We are also, part of our education and community outreach now is with our new code enforcement officer, and trying to increase the number of contacts and education rather than issuing a citation. With regard to economic development, that's also supported through our franchise fees. We did, as a reminder, obtain that $30,000 grant to help with businesses make an investment within their businesses along Oregon Avenue. With regard to affordable housing, our planning staff is continuing to excel at look at ways to bring affordable housing, whether that's looking at different duplexes, increasing density on some properties. They're also working with consultants and developers to explore not only how we can increase density, make housing affordable, but what makes sense for developers as well. We started what we call a pre-construction meeting process, where we're trying to engage with developers early in the process. Major changes and initiatives, we're not proposing any, as I said. So we look at what we call a baseline budgeting process. Really, we look at carrying over the approach from the previous year, and then anything that will be increased, we really hit as a line item for a specific conversation with you if we were to have a new program, or if we wanted to add staff, or if there was a new service that we wanted to provide. But at this point, we're not proposing any major changes, which really helps with that relatively moderate increase of 6% over our overall budget. So what are the fiscal challenges and constraints that we do have? It really comes down to two that affect us: inflation and the trending upwards of the CPI and wages, not only for government wages, but also for private industry as well. Those are about 3.3% right now, and they're trending upwards, where the CPI is 3.1 and trending upwards. Another constraint for us is Measure 50, which basically caps our taxable assessed value for property at 3%. As of 2025, we were at $2.67 per thousand assessed value. With that, I'm done with my overview, and I'm going to turn it over to Jim, who will continue the practice of be brief, be brilliant, and then we be gone.
Thank you, Vincent. Jim Piper, Finance Director, City of Crestwell. Yeah, the budget, like Vincent mentioned, is baseline budget, and we really strive to find savings. We are always tackling inflation. So this budget includes the beginning fund balances of $22.7 million. Now, beginning fund balances are carryovers from the prior year. It's money's not spent. 9.1 million of that is system development charges. Those charges are reserved for expansion of the existing system, so we can't spend it on repairs and maintenance expenses. So that leaves us the rest of those beginning fund balances to work with, and as you see, a good portion of that is capital projects for the future, and then we have our operational reserves. The general fund is used for general operations of the city, and those funds don't have any legal restrictions, unlike some of the other funds. For example, streets have to be spent on street operations. The decrease of $829,000 in fiscal year 27 compared to 26 is due in large to that operating contingency that we carry over, and that's likely not to be spent. We'll end up in beginning fund balance in the following fiscal year. The other items that are listed on the slide are related to non-routine operating expenses, and those are things that come up from time to time, but we're not going to continue those. On the next slide, we're going to talk about the general fund in particular as far as expenditures. Personal services are going to go up about $79,000 or 10.5% over the prior fiscal year. The biggest driver in this is the medical insurance premiums, but we were able to offset that with some decreases in workers' comp, and you'll see that in other funds as well. And then in the general fund in particular, there was a little bit of the planning tech that wasn't picked. We didn't have a full year of planning tech last year. Materials and services that increased to $207,000 or 9.8%, and those are some projects that Vincent talked about: the facade grant program, the Lane County Sheriff's contract. Those are increases we expect to see every year. And then again, there's a pie chart there explaining the breakdown of those costs, and as you can see, over 50% of it is public safety. It is a big deal in the general fund. Other than property taxes and franchise fees, we have some other revenues that are in the general fund listed here, and as you can see, there's 9 different ones listed here. So there's a lot of revenue sources, different revenue sources that come into the general fund. Property taxes are just the biggest one of them. Now, as we get into SDC funds, Again, we talked about how those are restricted, but we do have projects going off in most years. And we're going to see an increase in those fund balances of about 41,000 after we have some new assessments coming in from construction and interest earnings. But we do have a few projects going off as well. On the next slide, we have the capital improvement reserve funds. Collectively, we're going to spend out about $3.1 million after we transfer in $1.8 million. And we're expecting $1.7 million to come back in grant reimbursements in the following fiscal year. So, are there any questions at this time? I'm trying not to hurry too fast.
I got one, maybe more of a comment, Jim, on the Stoll. I know it shows 20K, but it might be good to remind everyone that Shelley's out working her tail off and has quite a bit committed already to replenish that, so
Yeah,
hopefully that could be a $0 expenditure.
that's what we're hoping as well. We've got, on the revenue side of things, we do have 20,000 in donations put in the budget as well. And I hear we're quite a ways working towards that.
That's awesome.
I believe that, Dave, yes?
I don't know what the stole is.
Short pickup and landing.
Thank you. You want to address that?
So we were contacted by National Stoll event, Short Takeoff and Landing. It's an aircraft competition that is going to be held at the airport in August. Series of smaller planes, they get scored on how quickly they can take off and then the short distance of their landing. We're hoping for about 30 planes. I think last update we had about 14 committed. Shelley has raised about 15,000 the last that I heard. And again, it's August 28th and 29th. So everyone come out, bring your family.
I think it's important.
And we're putting up the money.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's important to note that this is like a big deal event to come to a small town like this. I think Shelley can speak more to that, but I think, what did they say, there's like 10?
I think there's 8 or 10 events this year.
There's 8, only 8 this year, and that's nationwide?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're the furthest one out west that they've committed to.
And apparently they're very popular events, and it's a great way to bring people into Crestwell.
It is something we're paying for upfront, but with Shelley's donations, advertising, commitments, hopefully it's to zero pocket out of some for the city is the goal. And hopefully we'll bring in, what they say, $1 million, potentially a few $100,000 to the economy for a couple weeks.
Yeah, so out of pocket is about 30 or 40,000, and we're about halfway there now. And fundraising really started about actively 3 weeks ago, a month ago.
It's like the NASCAR for planes.
Dave?
So you were just wrapping up on the capital project fund,
Yeah.
City Hall, water, sewer, street. Are you gonna be going into more detail about that later to kind of fill us in on what those capital projects are this year?
They should all be listed in your capital improvement plan document. And we encourage any questions you have on those. Here we've got them listed in millions of dollars. And if you have any specific questions about them, I'd be willing to take those down.
I guess what I was wondering was, I know last year we delayed doing the second floor build out here, and I was wondering where we are at in that conversation.
Yeah, that's off the books now. We held off on doing that, not really needing the space at this point in time.
So that's not included in capital projects any longer?
It's not included in the cap.
Is it shown because you needed to keep it on the books at least at one point?
It is showing in the.
It is in there.
Yeah, so Jim and I discussed this, and if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
because of the way the budgeting process works, it still needed to be on the books, but we are not pursuing that. So a lot of the reason for that was for storage and offices. We're not going to add staff. We went through a full day of purging old files, and we have cleared up a lot of storage downstairs. So there's no immediate need for us to pursue that $348,000 of a project. So it's still showing. I'll let Jim talk about the financing reason for that, but we are not, for us, that project is not being pursued.
Yeah, we're still showing it in the reserves for future. It's unscheduled. When that day comes, we'll cross that bridge.
I'm raising my hand for myself. Shelley?
I think it's turned on. Either way, I'll just speak up. I just had a question, actually about slide number 10. You're showing $30,000 of donations, and so I was wondering if you could speak more to, is that the grant fund? Is that the downtown facade fund? I mean, what goes into that $30,000 of donation? Because it sounds great.
I'm gonna pull the budget up. And budget document, page 4445 shows the breakdown. And that is all coming out into the general fund for this project. And I'm just gonna double check on the culture and recreation page.
You're going down. Page 44.
Yeah, that's the event donations for the Soul Drag.
I just want to say thank you to staff for prioritizing digitalizing things versus needing more office space. I really appreciate that. So, anybody else have questions? All right.
I did have one. I don't know if you guys can hear me very well.
Oh, I forgot
Or if I
about you. I'm
should type
sorry.
it. No, it's quite all right, quite all right. On page 6, or not on page 6, if we're looking at the City of Creswell, Oregon proposed budget, it wasn't in the slides, it was in the paper handouts. It was in the summary, and it was section 6 on the summary of proposed budget. Trying to get it right here, let's see which page that was.
South Second Street?
Essentially, so there was a section here, and perhaps it could just be noted. It says that we have 22.77 FTE to 1,000 people. I believe that's just supposed to be 22.77 FTE, not to 1,000 people, because we don't have over 100 FTEs. Because according to page 29, where we have the layouts of the employees at City Hall, it definitely doesn't add up to 100, so I believe that was just a typo.
Somebody run through the whole thing.
Page 29.
Page 29 is accurate, so this was page 16 of the City of Creswell, Oregon proposed budget FY 2026 to 27. Page 16, halfway through, we mentioned the
No, I got you.
second to last sentence. The City of Creswell operates with 22.77 FTE employees to 1,000 people. I think we just have to remove the to 1,000 people.
Yeah, I'll make that change before we finalize it. Thank you.
Nice catch.
You're welcome.
Yeah, really good catch. Do we have any other questions before he moves on?
All right, so I'll jump to the street fund now. In the proposed budget, street fund personal services increase about $6,000 in fiscal year '27. Again, we're expecting those medical insurance increases, but we're offsetting it with decreases in workers' comp. And materials and services are increasing $4,000, but that's related to credit card charges, to collecting the tough fees, since majority of our utility bills are paid online.
You said they are or are not?
They are getting paid online, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very few people are paying in person anymore. And then $207,000 in capital outlays to finish Second Street, and that includes the local improvement district transfers of $130,000. And then the bike path The bike footpath fund is, got $7,000 in capital outlay to finish the South Second Street project as well. On the building department, building fund increase of $6,400 was related to, again, to personal services. Materials and services are only increasing $50, but there are some details there showing, with increases in some areas and decreases in others, but we tried to keep it, keep the increases down to a minimum. Next is the water fund budget. Personal services and material services equals $1.6 million in total. And we're only expecting an increase of $30,000 in fiscal year '27, and it's related to personal services. Again, we're offsetting those medical premium increases by getting reductions in our workers' comp premiums. And then our capital outlay decreases $938,000, but that is, that project will be carried over. It's the water line the main line transmission line relocation, getting into the public right of way and out of private property. And instead of having it budgeted partially in the operating fund for water, partially in the reserve fund, we're just having the whole thing budgeted out of reserve funds this year, so it's a little easier to see. So you'll notice that this capital project is going down by $928,000, but you'll find it over in the water capital improvement reserves, I believe at $1.7 million, the total project cost. Any questions so far?
Dave?
You mentioned a few times that thousands of dollars of decrease in workers' comp. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, we're able to get our premiums down pretty substantially. One of the things we did a few years back was we switched over to SAFE and got away from CIS. And then it's just, we haven't had a lot of claims, if any. And so we're really keeping those, that's that experience modifier they talk about. The more claims, the more that experience modifier goes up. And Cliff and his guys do a good job of not only taking safety training, but also putting it to use.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, lastly, the airport fund. We're seeing a decrease of about $7,000 compared to the fiscal year 2026 in materials and services, personal services and materials and services combined. And here we see a substantial decrease in that workers' comp insurance costs. And that was a big help right there. And then other than just your day-to-day operations, we got about $1.4 million in capital outlay projects, mostly funded by grants. And so we have the funding from the grants. There are some contributions that we have to put in there that the general fund transfers help with. Another thing I want to note with the general fund transfers that it helps with Shelley's time. She spends about half her time working on these grants. And that's really an administrative function and not your day-to-day operations at the airport. That's all I got.
Does anyone else have questions before he takes his seat again? All right.
Thank you.
So our approach this fiscal year is to continue to provide the essential services to the public. Support safety, certainly follow the strategic plan goals, and continue to look, even if it seems minimal, 5,000 here, 1,000 there, but continue not only from this point, but during the year, question purchases, look at ways to save, to really maximize our fiduciary responsibility to you and to the public. The financial plan for us is balanced, and the link between public policy values and available resources, I think staff has done a really great job in cooperative process this year to really help fine-tune this budget for you. With that, we can open it up to whatever questions you may have.
Questions, anyone? All right, Mark.
So I just got a financial one for your forecasting. What do you have in thought of what we're going to get, and what do you think we're actually getting? By what we've already just seen in front of us, what do you think is going to be projected?
In what regard? In the revenues?
The revenues.
A lot of our revenues are very conservatively forecasted. Grants don't get put in the budget until they're awarded, so we know that those dollars are secured. Property taxes, even if we hit a recession, the real market values could come down, but our assessed value is capped at that 3% every year, so we really have some safeguards in there. We should be spot on. If anything, we'll have some unexpected revenues, and we'll come back to council with those, and at that time, ask to spend more money if we receive the extra funding.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this may be something that's been asked and answered before this meeting, but I was curious about the $175,000 for parks improvements. How much of that is going to that bridge project that was there? Did that get addressed? Did it get shelved?
Yeah, the bridge project got actually, we reallocated that through a budget amendment. I mean, that one was ended.
Dave?
Well, kind of a follow-up on the bridge project. I'm not sure if this is, I don't know who should answer this, but how did it get cut? Because I know last year there was a discussion about it. Did the homeowners there want it? Did we want it?
Sure.
Just curious.
So it started with the conversation of us looking at the revitalization of Garden Lake and really looking at those lakes and trying to improve the ecology and water recreation with regard to fishing. That conversation then led to, if we were going to improve those lakes, there would be a serious degree of dredging and reshaping of those. That led to the conversation of using those spoils as a land bridge with the reconfiguration of those lakes if it were to happen. So we moved that out with the hope of being able to fund a master plan process. That did not take place. So we are now engaging with DEQ, Division of State Lands, to see if there's grants available that can help offset that master planning cost, strictly focused on the ecology and health of those lakes. Some of the feedback during the request for the funding was maybe not focus on the recreation aspect right now. Focus maybe on the driver, which is the reshaping and ecology of those lakes. So we heard that from council, and that's why we started engaging with DEQ and DSL to see if we can take care of that first through grants. So some of that 175 might be used for matching. It might be used to help that. We don't know yet. And then any further development with Garden Lake Park, any proposal would come back to, I mean, it's all going to come back to council, but any recreation piece would come back to council because council was clear to kind of separate those out. So it was an evolution of a conversation that started out as lake health and ecology.
Good. Thank you.
Counselor Kramer?
All right, so I got a question about the airport fund. 150,000 transfer there. What does that specifically entail?
So that covers the grant matching requirements for those grants. It also covers about 50% of Shelley's time, and that's salary and wages, overhead, to do the administrative function of those grants.
Dave? Oh, sorry, I'll get you next. Go ahead.
So I had three questions. Should I just ask one now and come back to the other one?
Ask all three if you want.
On page 17 of the budget, talks about the ending fund balance, 5 months. So I'm curious how that, struggling for the right word, in past years, when we come to, what's our ending fund balance normally? 5 months, 6 months, 4 months? How are we doing with the number of months we have operating expenses when we come to the end of the budget?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's wonderful. Every year we take the operating costs of the general fund, we divide it by the number of months, and we get to look at our reserves and say, okay, how long could we go if we didn't receive any more revenues? Let's say the county was not sending us our property taxes, or franchise fees weren't being collected for whatever reason. It's just kind of a good practice to have some reserve funds. And the city actually has, and it's in the back of your budget, a fiscal policy that requires 30% of operating expenditures to be in ending fund balance. And if not, then we need to look at that and come up with a plan to fix that. But right now, we're at 5 months. We're really healthy in general fund.
So we meet that policy of the 30%.
We meet the 30%, yeah. We're sitting much better than 30% right now.
Okay, second question was, can you give any kind of update on where we are with our sewer?
Very good question. That's actually in those capital improvement numbers. So we are working with a group with Business Oregon, City of Springfield, DEQ, Metropolitan Wastewater,
Lane County Commissioners.
Lane County Commissioners. Thank you, Mayor Smith. There's quite a group of us working on this. The county has to put forth a metro plan amendment, and I'm kind of getting out of my realm of expertise because I'm not a planner.
So at this point, we are waiting to be scheduled for a combined planning commission meeting so we can discuss the proposal of a plan amendment. Springfield and Eugene operate with a metro area general plan. That within that text, that plan, it has restrictions of extending services out of the urban growth boundary. We're asking them to extend services outside of the urban growth boundary, which would need amendment from the city of Eugene, Springfield, and Lane County to the metro plan. We have met with the different councils and commissions and have received support with the understanding more detail needs to work out, and the impact on current users, excuse me, is minimized to the greatest extent practicable. So we are currently working on that. The SDC model for Lane County is being revised at this time. That's important because that will let us know how much we would be paying in for certain connections. And then just to revisit a decision, we have opted to build the line from Goshen to Springfield because Lane County's funding was lagging behind our timeline that we needed to. We are drafting a memorandum of understanding that'll lay out the terms of how that will be paid, and also the hiring of a project manager that Lane County, Junction City at this point, and the city of Crestwell will combine costs. Our portion is $50,000, and that's someone to really focus on this project. None of the folks on any of the staffs have the time to really do this. So Lane County is going to contribute $100,000. Junction City will contribute $50,000, and we will contribute $50,000. And then when we're done, our funding of that goes away because Junction City is about 2 years. I think, if I remember correctly, two years behind us. So we were very specific that we're not going to contribute to a project manager for the time that we're not involved in the project.
Thank you.
And I can speak.
My last question, which was a quick one, was I want to say thank you to the city council and to the staff for South Second Street Park, which is getting lots of use, and the new bathrooms. So the question is, Cliff, when will the orange fence come down and the bathrooms and the water park be open? I have a 2-year-old granddaughter who's eager.
The water park will be open in June. The bathrooms, I'm not sure at the moment. They're usable, but there isn't any access to them. So we need to get sidewalks to them before they're really completely open to the public.
Okay. Well, thank you to all of you who are making that possible.
Shelley? I've got to go to Shelley real quick and then I'll get you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, actually, this is not so much of a question, but just a commendation and a thank you and just a note of appreciation. I think anytime I have been at during my time at city council, and anytime coming back to the city council afterwards, what I hear regularly is the work that you all are doing to bring in grant dollars, to bring in opportunities, to solicit donations, to look for opportunities to grow the city and the events, and I think that it really shows, and I think it is really present in this budget as I've read it through as well. I think the other piece that I think has just been highlighted tonight that has been sitting in my head as well, that I just wanted to say a note of thanks, is the work that you all are doing to decrease claims around workers' compensation, right? Because again, I think that this is very present in the budget, and I think is really visible, I think, in the values and the work that you all do. And so thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, and before I forget, I want to get back to the question about the, Dave Strabby asked about the sewer project, and I was going to talk about the financial part of it in capital outlay. There is $500,000 in preliminary planning, and that's because DEQ wants us to start now and has us on a strict timeline. So there is $500,000 in preliminary design of that project. As Manager Martorello said, that the other organizations want some answers, specifically on how much of a load we're going to put on them in specifics, and that preliminary design will answer those questions. So that will be going in tandem. So I wanted to make sure you didn't have any surprises. That's in the budget. It'll also come before council. We'll have to go out to bid, so you'll go through the solicitation process and receive bids and have to award that contract.
I throw some ancillary information on that too. From my end, with Eugene, Springfield, the mayors, their city council, most of the Lane County commissioners, not all, but the majority, we still have a solid support. Despite what may have been said recently that we're losing support, we are not. I've reached out directly to all those folks. We are very well in support. It is, again, DEQ that is confused and is requiring more of us, but we still have solid support. There's Junction City kind of coming in late, threw a little bit of wrench, I think, at first, but the support is still definitely there. We're going to get there for sure. So, because I know you started that project, and I've tried to take it over, and that one's a pretty serious one. So, and with Vincent being a Bulldog as well, we still got solid support, and so we will get there. We're going to get there.
Derek?
Yeah, I did have a question. You said something about that we were going to foot the extension into Springfield from Goshen. And that's something new, right? I don't remember that being talked about last year, and there was discussion about even funding the connection to Goshen. So why is that we'd be doing that?
Part of that was that Lane County was kind of trying to figure out how they were going to fund it, and it was holding up the project on our end. We told them that we would help because we want to get through that area and get connected to MWMC. But we've also followed up with them and told them that won't fall on the users. So they are actively seeking grant funds to pay their share.
Yeah, that was basically my follow-up question. Is that going to impact us because of that additional obligation that we're getting into?
Yeah, great question. No, it should be paid for by the users of our system.
Mark?
So I was just going through that proposed budget for the sewer one, and it's $3 million. So what are you seeing that's going with this, that we're proposing that? Are we going to get a start? What's the $3 million projected for?
Oh, are you looking at?
So it's on page 88.
All right. So the $3 million is actually a couple things. So if you open up the capital improvement plan, they'll give you a breakdown, but capital improvement plan on page 26, 27. That's $2.5 million, and that's another project that we have to do simultaneously. that we've already received some grant funding for $1 million in grant funds, and that's the collection system downtown. So this is an issue with old infrastructure in the downtown core, about 40 city blocks. And that is also in the MOA. Did I say that right? MAO? MOA? Yeah, that's a project we have to do. That has to do with inflow and infiltration. You'll see an I sometimes on reports, and even I had to ask, what in the world is this? If we have leaks in the collection system, rainwater gets into the sewer pipes and it goes down to the sewer plant, and it just adds extra flow, which really hurts our outflow. And so the DEQ wants us to address that at the same time that we're also dealing with MWMC, the connection to the north. And in the last meeting we had, they were glad to hear that we are addressing this MWMC was glad that we are addressing the I&I, because it'll also help us in regards to making that connection.
Thank you.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, just a follow-up question on that. Are they gonna want that staged in that way, that all of those repairs are done and the stuff here before you move into that next phase of the connections and those things?
You want to address that, Cliff?
You know the breakdown of that?
Cliff's been working closely on the breakdown of that and the priorities of these projects, so I'll let him speak to it.
Yeah, I don't have the full dates in front of me, but there's 3 priorities that are listed in our compliance schedule from DEQ, and I believe the first year is 2027, the priority 1 collection system improvements have to be done, and then there's priority 2 and priority 3, and I think they go through year 30 for those to be completed. And so there's 2 different permits. There's the MAO, it's not really a permit, but it's a driver for things that we have to do for DEQ. And then we have the NPDES permit that actually tells us we have to do the wastewater treatment improvement. So we have 2 different things going on. And so the NPDES permit has a year-end date of 30/31. So these pipeline projects will be completed before the deadline of the NPDES. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna be in parallel or that they weigh on each other. They're just end dates that are set by DEQ. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I guess the question is, are there milestones or markers along the way of what funds need to be in hand at each end that are coinciding with those dates and those types of things, so that we're looking at that comprehensively in that way? I'm sure you do, but I'm just asking.
Yeah, I think that's more of a question for Jim, but if you look in your capital improvement plan, it lists out the years. And in that sewer fund, you should see numbers that correspond with the milestones that have to be done within the MAO. Those numbers reflect pipeline projects.
Thank you. I see it.
Yeah, thank you, Cliff. Yeah, the priority 1 projects, that's that 2.5 million that we had to budget for the coming fiscal year ending 27.
Any other questions? Joshua, you have any questions?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah?
All right. On page 32 and 33 of the capital improvement plan document, I was curious why there are, you've got the security enhancements and destruction removal on budgeted values. They're the exact same value for both FY 25 to 26 and FY 26 to 27. I wasn't sure if that meant that it was being, like, it was canceled for last year and it's just carried forward to this year?
It's carried forward. It's not necessarily canceled. I just don't know that we're gonna get it done before July 30. We're trying to line things up, but a lot of times it's getting stuff from vendors in time. We're not anticipating it'll get done anytime this fiscal year, but we are gonna roll it into next fiscal year because there are grant funds that we can use to pay for that project, or those projects.
Okay, so that budget from last year, that money's already been set aside and it's simply just carried forward to this?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I did have one final question, is that all right?
Yeah.
So this goes back a little ways. When you were showing the slides, you had mentioned that there was an increase, I believe you were saying was the Crestwell water utility billing, an extra $4,000 a year in credit card transaction fees. What is the total amount that we're spending on those, if I understood that correctly?
That's a great question.
4,000, yeah.
I'll have to come back with that. I know it affects all the utility funds, but we weren't necessarily allocating any to the street fund because the TUF was kind of a new revenue line, and we weren't putting that on the street fund. But as a percentage of the receipts that we receive every month, we should be allocating part of that expense to the street fund. But I'll have to get back to you with a total citywide. It's a great question.
Yeah, I was curious if that was a cost to us or if this was money that was being brought in to us. It sounds like it's a cost to us.
It is a cost to us, and we don't necessarily make the utility payer pay the credit card fees like some entities do, just because it does save us in labor dollars if somebody have to like open a bill and 10 key the check into the system. It's kind of a wash there as far as costs go, but to answer your question about what it costs us citywide, I'd have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. My main reason for asking this one, sorry, this is it. So my last follow-up with it is once we know what that final number is, I was curious if it was a relatively large number, if it would make sense for us to look to see if there's any alternatives that could be a little more affordable.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We did that a few years back. We switched merchant service carriers because of that. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, that's a competitive market, so why not?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Speaking of follow-up questions, are we going to use the same format this year? Like I don't know what the goal of today's meeting is, but typically we after the first meeting, we're able to submit questions and then he puts them in a shared space online so that everybody can see what everyone's asking and how he's answering the questions. Is that our plan for this year as well?
Absolutely, we encourage that a great deal. Please
Yeah.
email your questions in. I'm trying to cut it off at like May 15th because we have to get it up on the website May 18th, and then we're gonna meet on the 19th, so.
Okay, so with the May 15th cutoff, let's just call that after we leave tonight, we can submit questions to Jim, and he will answer them in a shared space online that we can all go to and see everyone's questions and his answers.
Excellent, thank you.
I got a question.
Anybody else have questions? Mayor?
Just to piggyback off that, because I actually made a note too of potentially incentivizing customers, because I know I pay through, I think, my checking account, that bill. Maybe we can incentivize if you pay through checking, because I know debit has smaller fees. I go through the same thing, merchant processors, you rotate them, they're by the thousands. Whoever's cheaper at the time, but maybe we can do an incentivized program where if you pay through check, you can get a 2% discount or whatever that credit card fee might be. It might lower it because it's a lot easier to take a check and process it to the bank than it is to credit cards.
Yeah, those are all things we can look into, for sure.
Two suggestions, just like my giving tree. I'm not giving up on that one.
Mark?
So just to kind of piggyback off of that too is, so the interest at 62,000, is there any way that, maybe if we know that is something that we're going to inherit anyway, can't the general fund be used instead of credit cards? Something to minimize this interest of 62,000.
I agree.
Is there anything else that we could do?
I guess I'm not following you on the
So
62,000.
instead of using the credit card, I would just use the money out of the general fund. Because there is no specific that general fund needs to be used on.
Oh, I think I see what you mean. These aren't credit card charges that the city's making. These are utility payments that are coming to us via people's credit cards. Like they're going online and using a credit card to pay their utility bill.
Gotcha. Wrong thing.
Any other questions? Okay, moving along. Item 7 says to receive public comment on the proposed budget. Is there anyone in here in the public that would like to speak? Or online, I suppose, yeah. Can they make public comment online?
I'm gonna offer it. Whether they can do it.
I tried to in the past and I couldn't, so.
Yeah,
Is there anything on the chat?
oh, that's great.
That's a good question, let's check that.
This machine.
Chat,
Yeah,
chat bot.
Let's see if there's anything over here on chat. There's. Oh.
Is that a kissy face? Are we doing well? Are we
just
doing well
heart
this
them
time?
back. I'm curious, yeah.
I'm encouraged to vote for the budget for the first time ever, so.
Oh, it's literally.
Those are from Joshua.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, no other comments from the public.
Okay.
On the chat.
So, does anyone here have questions about the process going forward? And
May 15th deadline.
we do have a May 15th deadline. When is our next budget meeting scheduled? Do we have it scheduled?
It is May 19th.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it's been put out for the schedule or not, but that's the date that we have, is May 19th. That's why the May 15th cutoff gives us time to gather information and answers and then present that information back to
Okay.
you guys.
All right. Dave?
So just kind of a question back to you, Stacy. You used the phrase shared space for when Jim compiles all these. Does that mean we're gonna be getting an email from Jim on Outlook? Because that's my location.
Shared space as in he'll put it on a website, a webpage, and he'll send us the link.
Okay.
That's how we've done it the past several years. Yeah.
Then I have a
Sure.
question. Is that something then that the community can also see? Is that gonna be
Absolutely.
on the
Yes.
website?
That
Yep.
is the main reason for it.
In fact, is all of this on the website? All of the
I don't know if
budget?
it's been, well, the
Yeah, the budget
the
is.
budget is on there.
It's all on there?
We will also put the presentation on as a matter of course, and anything that we refer to tonight will go up on the website.
Where on the website? Because I looked at the meeting listings and I didn't see a packet.
I think it makes sense since we're active with the budget committee and the budget season, we could put it right on the main page. Like a
Is it
tab right
possible,
there.
because I know there's people like me that will go look in the meeting minutes section, is it
Oh.
possible to have it in both?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so we'll have it on the main page, so it's
Okay.
easy, but then we'll also put it on the finance page, budget committee page. We'll make sure that it
Okay.
is in multiple places.
Okay.
So Jim will send us a link,
Yes,
and we can go to the link and get all that information.
yes, and he'll keep the questions anonymous, I believe, in that
Yes.
format. So we can submit our questions, he'll answer all of our questions and put them all in place to see.
But still keep it polite.
Yeah.
Yeah, about as transparent as you can get.
Anything else?
Yes, Mark?
Well, I just want to say, hey, I appreciate all the effort, what's going in there, trying to save all of us time, money. You guys are doing a great job, so just keep it up. Thank you.
I love the format you went with this year for presenting too, it's great. Go ahead.
I spoke to Jim on the phone earlier asking questions, but the capital improvement plan, that's always been my bugaboo. That's always why I've said no. Thank you. It was effective, it was concise, there wasn't a lot of minutia. It was, here's the money we need, here's the places it can come from. Unscheduled, meaning not happening, or where it is gonna be scheduled, 29:30 potential follow-up. So I was able to burn through this quickly and not be upset for the first time ever. So thank you for doing a good job.
Really do like how it's laid out, so.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, I think we're gonna officially adjourn this meeting.
You have to work out more.
This thing's way too heavy.
I know I was
for
gonna
me.
ask her if she needed help bringing that.
Caitlin can do it.
I got this.